Dear seekers, wish you a happy and prosperous day. Today we are going to ponder on the value of knowing our own self, the knowledge. As we have already said, the three major values of life. One is loving, knowing and acting. On this basis, today we concentrate on the aspect of knowing. How to know our own self and the other realities of life. The Indian word jnana means knowledge, insight or wisdom. In the spiritual context, it is what the ancient Greeks called gnosis. It is the liberating knowledge or intuitive knowledge. Yoga of knowledge or jnana yoga is the path of self-realization through the exercise of intuitive understanding. It is the wisdom associated with discerning the real from the unreal or illusory. It is the path of attaining knowledge of the true nature of reality through the practice of meditation, self-inquiry and contemplation. It is defined as the awareness of absolute consciousness through the practice of self-study. In this path, the mind is used to question into its own nature and to transcend the mind's identification with its thoughts and ego. The fundamental goal of yoga of knowledge is to become liberated from the illusionary world of ignorance in connection with our self-limiting thoughts and perceptions, and to achieve the union of the inner self, the inner Atma, with the oneness of life. This is achieved by unwavering practice of self-questioning, reflection and conscious illumination. Yoga of knowledge is the path of setting our mind on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. Here we go beyond the external knowledge and enter into the inner consciousness. The true nature of ourself is revealed and we enter into the union of the self. Traditionally, there are three practices or three core practices to enter into the real practice of the yoga of knowledge. First of all, it is listening, Shravana, hearing or experiencing the sacred knowledge in and through the cosmic realities. All the created realities, ancient Vedic text of Upanishads says, usually a teacher or guru will guide the yogi through discussions on the philosophy of non-dualism. In this stage, the student should read and study the sacred books and achieve a deep understanding of the concepts of the inner self and Brahma, the philosophy of non-dualism. It is hearing The text is, the sacred text is everywhere. Before the written text or the pretext, the whole nature is the vibration of the universal sound and universal word. We have to listen to the nature. We have to hear the mind and its powers so that we can attain the true knowledge of realities. We have to hear the true vibrations of the nature, all the created realities. Thus we can really go deeper within the nature of our inner self. That means we have to listen to the nature and to the human teacher and to the inner self. Here there are three realities are very important. One, listening to the nature, because all the created realities in one or another way is eloquently expressing the reality, the hidden reality, the supreme reality. Secondly, we have to listen to the teacher. It may be a human teacher, a person who is able to guide us in the spiritual path. Then we have to listen to our inner self. The inner self itself is the reality of going deeper within ourselves. Then comes the understanding of reflection and thinking. We have to reflect. We have to go on thinking on the realities of life, about the truth and nature itself. The student is expected to spend many hours on thinking and contemplating on the various ideas of what we have heard, what we have listened. And comes a permanent consciousness of oneself. It is called the meditation on the inner self, Nididhyasana. It is called as Nididhyasana. It is the constant and profound reflection, meditation on the inner self. This involves the meditation and reflection on the real meaning of the self and the inner self. Continuous focus on these seeds of wisdom, the yogi can obtain the union of thought and action, knowing and being. These three values lead to the true consciousness of the true self. Accordingly, we should have the real strength to go deeper into the several stages of consciousness. First of all, we should have a good desire. I should have the desire, the innate power to go on deeper into the realities of life through our intellectual process. It is the passionate desire to discover, to understand more about the truth. One should strive towards non-attraction or indifference towards all sensual objects. Here we should be very careful. The good desire is something pure. It is not which related with our own personal likes and dislikes or inclinations of emotions and feelings. If it is linked with our own personal likes and dislikes, our desire is more or less of our personal values, personal ideas, personal likes and dislikes. So that one should go beyond these personal likes and dislikes and follow the ways of non-attraction. or indifference towards all sensual objects, that the good desire may help us to go beyond the limitations of the capacities of our body and mind. Secondly, we should have a good reasoning attitude. It involves questioning, contemplation, and reflection on the principles of inner self, which is one and many, and one and not two. Good reasoning. I should have a strong intuitive power or the power of reasoning to question myself, my own realities, my own practices, my own attitudes, my own behaviors of life, and make a purative process of my own thought and other inner values of life. It goes on reflecting on them and reflecting on them of the inner self, how I am, how the many realities are there, how myself and the Supreme Self are related. I am separated from the Self or Supreme Self or within the Supreme Self. Like this, we have to go on contemplate and reflect on the realities of life. Then comes the attitude of good attention. It is to be attentive, to aware of our own inner self. It is to understand all the necessary knowledge received through the external world and to focus on the inner self. We are receiving lot of information from the cosmic realities, from the natural realities, from the other persons, from the elders, from the circumstances, from the social context. Here, what we have received through all the external realities should focus on the inner self. It should be focused on the inner self with a relative understanding, the relative attitude. With this understanding of connecting the external realities and the knowledge received from them and the inner realities with its own reflection and contemplation. Then comes the stage of attainment of inner light. So as we are go on practicing these values of contemplation and other reflections, we get a inner consciousness of purifying ourselves and come to a light of knowing our own self. It is the consciousness of the limitations of this passing world as a dream. It is to view all things as equal. Nothing is high or low. If I am able to get this inner light, then I get a maturity to understand my own limitations and the limitations of this passing world. All realities are passing. Since they are passing, it is undergoing a process of change. At the same time, since everything is passing on, nothing is high, nothing is low. I look all realities as limited and equal realities. This is the maturity or a inner strength I obtain through the deeper meditation and reflection of the realities of life. Then I arrive to a stage of inner detachment. The seeker conscious here that he is detached and selfless. he will experience deep states of bliss within. So, since everything is in the process of moving and changing, I try to detach myself from the other realities and I go deeper in union within myself. I acquire a capacity of detachment so that I may be more and more attached, more and more related, more and more being united with my inner self. It will be the deep state of going within my inner realities. As we go enter in, I realize the consciousness of the self. The consciousness of the self is the reality which is happening within me. Here the seeker begins to see the truth and understand the nature of ultimate reality. When I am conscious of my inner self, I begin to see the truth in its nature and understand the nature of ultimate reality. All natural realities on one side with its limitation. At the same time, I am conscious of the unlimited or beyond natural realities within myself. It leads to the inner union, the higher consciousness of perfect liberation. It leads to the inner union, the higher consciousness of perfect liberation. As I am going deeper and deeper and being united with that, I feel that I am liberating and liberated from various external realities. Thus, the process of knowing myself or the yoga of knowledge in one or another way starts with the natural realities, the external realities. It leads me to go deeper into my thought, in my thinking, in my views of life, and able to correct them by understanding its limitations and going deeper into the consciousness of the inner self. Thus, I arrive at the deeper union of the consciousness of the Supreme Self. So, this is the gradual process of the yoga of knowledge which is going within us by our thinking, reflecting, meditating, awareness, consciousness, deeper union, and the consciousness of total liberation. That liberation helps me to be united with the Supreme Reality with a true understanding of the truth of life. Thus, I may live a truthful life within myself. Let us try this process so that we may also attain them in our life. O Supreme Graceful Light, justice, love, and peace be in all beings. O Supreme Graceful Light, justice, love, and peace be in all beings. O Supreme Graceful Light, justice, love, and peace be in all beings. Be well, be well, be well. Thank you.